What's up, guys? Welcome to Did You Know Pokemon TCG Pocket Edition. In today's episode, I'll be sharing some fun facts ranging from gameplay and battle mechanics, to card art Easter eggs, to God Pack secrets, and more. So without further ado, let's start with fact number 1. Both players scoring 3 points is not always a tie. As this footage will show, there are instances where both players can score their third point on the same turn, but this does not necessarily mean that the match is a tie. This is because the game actually checks for remaining Pokemon on each player's bench. If one player has Pokemon remaining on their bench while the other does not, the player that could theoretically continue to battle is the winner. So think twice before making that sacrifice play, as it may not actually result in a tie. This brings us to fact number 2. Scoring 3 points can tie against 2 points. As the clip will show, the same bench check mechanic can actually result in a situation where being the first and only player to score 3 points still isn't enough to actually score you the victory. As you can see, even when you are the first player to score 3 points, causing the match to conclude, and even though your opponent only ever scored 2 points, because your active Pokemon is KO'd and you don't have any Pokemon on your bench, the game actually considers you both unable to continue, resulting in a tie. It's certainly an unusual decision to have a player not win their match, despite them being the first and only player to score 3 points. I'm not really a fan of that mechanic, but it's still not as unpredictable as our next fact. Here's a bonus fact. Did you know you can use lootbar.gg to get 33% off of the same Pokégold that you buy in the game? Both members of my Khasino Dojo server and the Hype Packs Discord server use Lootbar all the time, and I highly recommend it. Not only is it the cheapest way to get Pokégold, but if you use my link, you will get another 10% off. So, it's just cheap Pokégold, link in the description. Fact number 3. Team Rocket Grunt has a weird interaction with Serperior. The inclusion of this fact, as well as credit for its initial discovery, is entirely thanks to Bropenings over on the Bropenings YouTube channel. I'll put a link to his channel in the video description. Definitely drop him a sub if you enjoy deep dives on game mechanics. He actually has an entire video on this topic that goes into much more detail, but here are the cliff notes. Serperior causes all grass-type energy to provide double energy. Meanwhile, Team Rocket Grunt allows you to flip coins, removing 1 energy for each heads. However, because Serperior makes each grass-type energy worth 2, something very strange happens. Essentially, each grass-type energy splits into 2. Think of it like each energy splitting into energy 1A and 1B, and energy 2A and 2B, etc. Team Rocket Grunt apparently chooses which energy it removes at random. Why this matters is because sometimes it will select both an A and a B from the same energy, resulting in only removing 1 original energy despite 2 coin flips being heads. Other times, it will select 2 different energy A's, resulting in 2 original energy being removed, removing 4 energy overall instead. Here's a quick clip from the Bropenings video highlighting this weird interaction.
My opponent has 7 energy. I flip 3 heads. 1, 2, 3, and they lost 2 energy. I rewatched my video a lot of times to make sure I wasn't seeing things or I wasn't miscounting. I mean, it's very hard to count 1, 2, and 3 wrong. So something's gone weird.
Once again, huge shout out to Bropenings for his dedication to discovering and testing unusual Pokemon Pocket interactions. I highly recommend subbing to his channel. Speaking of subscribing, if you're enjoying this video, help me out and hit the like button, and maybe even consider subscribing here. Anyway, on the topic of limit testing, fact number 4. The game has a damage cap. Did you know that the game will not allow you to deal more than 990 damage in a single attack? Of course, you would never need to do more than 990 damage with a single attack, but I find this fact fascinating nonetheless. As you can see here, even when Alakazam's attack should deal a whopping 1,250 damage after factoring in red, the game still limits it to dealing only 990 damage in total. What a shame. But that's not the only strange gameplay limitation. Fact number 5. The game has a max hand size. I actually discovered this unintentionally while recording footage for a completely different segment. However, since I was unaware, I figure I should go ahead and include this, as presumably many of you are also unaware. So it turns out that the game actually caps the number of cards you can hold in your hand. Specifically, it caps you at 10, which doesn't seem like all that much, although it's technically half of a deck. This actually results in a variety of weird interactions, including things like Professor Oak being played to only draw one card, and my favorite, completely shutting down Fan Rotom. For those who don't know, Fan Rotom's attack allows you to flip a coin, and if heads, it sends your opponent's active Pokemon back into their hand. However, if your opponent's hand is full, even if you manage to flip heads, the game prevents you from overloading your opponent's hand, basically rendering Fan Rotom useless. And that's right, indecisiveness hard counters Fan Rotom. Speaking of things most players are unlikely to encounter, fact number 6. The game won't display more than 5 energy types on a single Pokemon. I stumbled across this fact while watching an amazing video by a PokeTuber named SneakyDragon. This guy has a bunch of different uploads covering weird interactions and mechanics testing, and in my opinion, doesn't have anywhere near enough subscribers. So I'm going to put a link to SneakyDragon's channel in the description below, and I highly recommend that you check him out. As for what he's discovered, apparently once you attach 5 or more energy types to the same Pokemon, the game shows a 5th energy symbol with an ellipses, also known as a ... And this is because cards don't have room for displaying more than 4 individual energy symbols before they condense into a numbered stack. Fortunately though, if you go to retreat the Pokemon, you can then see all the different energy types when choosing which to spend on the retreat. As for how this was achieved, SneakyDragon actually gets all 8 energy types onto a Mew EX simultaneously via a very clever and very elaborate scheme. His deck naturally ran 3 energy types, water, darkness, and metal, and he then used Gardevoir's ability to attach a psychic energy, genome hacked an Exeggutor to generate a grass energy, and genome hacked a Magmar to generate a fire energy. He then used Brock to give a fighting energy to an Onix, and used Dawn to move it to his Mew. And finally, he evolved a Magnemite into a Magneton and used its ability to generate a lightning energy, and used his other Dawn to also move it to his Mew, thus allowing him to amass 1 of each energy type onto a single Pokemon. There actually are other ways to accomplish this as well. Personally, I would have run a Bastiodon deck full of healing supporters against an opponent playing Porygon Z. With a bit of luck, you would eventually generate 1 of each energy type as long as Bastiodon survived. Either way, huge shout out to SneakyDragon for the super fun, crazy interaction videos he releases with each new expansion. I highly recommend subbing to his channel. Speaking of crazy interactions, fact number 7. Playing certain trainers can cause you to instantly lose. Did you know that you can play certain trainers to immediately lose on your own turn? Well, believe it or not, you can. One such example is playing Ilima, who allows you to recall back to your hand a colorless Pokemon that has damage on it. If you have no other Pokemon on the board, this will result in you immediately losing the match. However, hopefully no one would actually be foolish enough to choose to play this. Not on purpose, at least. See, there is another trainer you can play who can also cause you to immediately lose your match, and that trainer is Penny. This is because when you play Penny, you are forced to play a random trainer from your opponent's deck, which can actually result in the exact Ilima recall outcome described above. You may be hoping for something like a Professor's Research or an Iono, but should you have the misfortune of finding an Ilima in your opponent's deck, with only 1 colorless Pokemon with damage on your board, Penny will actually force you to immediately lose your match. Oof. Moving away from gameplay mechanics, let's talk about art Easter eggs, starting with fact number 8. Pokemon Pocket card art contains hidden continuity. For example, you may recognize the full art Snorlax from Genetic Apex depicts an iconic scene from the mainline Pokemon games where Snorlax is blocking a path. What you may not have noticed is that the standard Oddish, Venonat, and Bellsprout cards from Genetic Apex all feature art that belongs to that exact same scene. Not only can you see Snorlax's limbs in each of their card art, but you can actually see Oddish, Venonat, and Bellsprout all struggling to get around Snorlax in the full art card. Not only that, but the position of some of the Pokemon slightly change, meaning that these cards all depict the same scene playing out at slightly different times. This scene actually has its own themed collection mission, aptly named A Big Snorlax Nuisance. Speaking of card art and Easter eggs, fact number 9. one artist hides Pokeballs in all of their illustrations. The card artist in reference is Saya Tsuruta, who, as of the release of this video, has illustrated 14 different cards for Pokemon Pocket. As of the release of this video, the most recent 3 of their illustrations that have been released are Binacle, Emolga, and Cherubi from the Wisdom of Sea and Sky set. In the Binacle card art, the Pokeball can be seen hidden in the water in the top right. In the Emolga card art, it can be found hidden among the flowers on the left side. And in the Cherubi card art, it's hidden in the foliage in the background towards the upper right. You can actually search your Pokedex for Saya, spelled S-A-Y-A, to see all the cards you own which were illustrated by Saya Tsuruta to see if you can spot the rest of the hidden Pokeballs for yourself. And finally, let's talk about a favorite topic here on this channel, God Packs, which brings us to fact number 10. Certain 1-stars cannot appear in God Packs. This is actually a very recent change, as this fact was not true until the release of the most recent set, Wisdom of Sea and Sky. Previously, a rare pack as it's known in the game, or a god pack as it's known by the player base, could contain any cards from the chosen booster pack of 1-star rarity and above. This would mean receiving a random assortment of 1-stars, aka Full Arts, 2-stars, aka Full Art EXs and Rainbow Rares, 3-stars, aka Immersives, Shinies, Super Shinies, and even Crown cards. However, Pokemon Pocket's newest set includes baby Pokemon, 2 of whom are also available as 1-star cards, namely Magby and Pichu. This is important to note because baby Pokemon can currently only appear as a 6th bonus card in certain packs. God Packs, at least as of this current set, can never have that 6th card slot, and therefore will never contain any baby Pokemon, making this pair of 1-star cards the first and only 1-star cards that cannot be obtained via a God Pack. And finally, let's include one more bonus fact about God Packs. Fact number 11. Crown cards are not booster unique until they are. Most people are already aware, but for those that don't already know, when opening normal packs from a set with multiple boosters, you can obtain any crown card from the same set, regardless of which specific booster you chose to open. For example, when you open a Pikachu pack from Genetic Apex, you are just as likely to get a Crown Charizard or Crown Mewtwo as you are to get a Crown Pikachu, because crown cards are not unique to a specific booster. This means if you're extraordinarily lucky, you could, in theory, open a booster from the new set, Wisdom of Sea and Sky, to discover that you've pulled both a Crown Ho-Oh and a Crown Lugia from the same pack, along with 3 other standard cards. However, oddly enough, this is no longer possible if you are too lucky. And that's because Crown Rares are booster unique when it comes to God Packs. So as strange as it sounds, if you're lucky enough to open a God Pack from the Wisdom of Sea and Sky set, you only have a chance to get the Crown Rare that corresponds to the specific booster pack you chose. Meaning that, sure, you could still receive 4 or 5 Crown Ho-Ohs in the same God Pack, but you will never receive a Crown Ho-Oh and a Crown Lugia from the same God Pack. That privilege is reserved for normal packs, strangely enough. One last note on the subject of God Packs, anyone is welcome to join the Hype Packs Discord server, which is our God Pack hunting community. The link to join is in the video description below and will also be in the pinned comment. We have a new system for hunting God Packs currently in testing, and we are very pleased with the initial results. If you'd like a chance to win a 1-month Pokemon Master Tier subscription to Hype Packs, just leave a comment on this video with your favorite Pokemon Pocket fun fact, and up to 10 winners will be selected. Please note that I am looking for facts unique to Pokemon TCG Pocket and not just general Pokemon trivia. But alright, thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Doing any of these things is a tremendous help. If you learned something new, share this video with a friend and be sure to stay tuned for episode 2, which might even include some trivia submitted by one of you in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks again for checking out this video, and I will see you guys real soon. Until next time. Peace!